Welcome to Bike World. Welcome to beautiful Portimao. Now, I rode this track just a couple of weeks ago with Triumph on their new 1200 RS. Really impressed by the bike, really good torque, really good power, excellent rider aids. The big talking point was the EC3 suspension, which is semi-active from Öhlins that worked really well on the road, almost like a sports tourer, and then on track it performed really well. But it got me thinking, I think there's more to come. I think they can just do a little bit more. Maybe if they made more of a track focus version with the bars a little lower and the pegs a little bit further back, changed the colour a bit and made it a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more exciting. Welcome to the RX. That's exactly what Triumph have done. They've taken the bike that we rode just 2 weeks ago and transformed it into a limited edition 1200 units only, sports kind of track orientated 1200 speed triple. So what that means is Triumph have essentially left the power and torque alone. They've left the excellent rider aids, that wheelie control, the engine brake assist, the cornering ABS, the big stylemas, all those excellent qualities that the standard bike has remain. But what they have done is put some much lower bars, put the pegs back and a little bit higher, giving us a racier, sportier stance. They've got rid of that slightly ugly exhaust and put a nice race Akrapovic on there. We've got this new beautiful dynamic colours. The little fly screen is a little optional extra. And again, we've removed the pillion pegs and just tidied up the rear end. But what that does mean is today we get to ride this amazing track in what should be, fingers crossed, perfect conditions to see what this bike is all about. This should be an exciting road test. This should be the ultimate street fighter angry British brute. So we're just wrapping up here at Bike World on the new Speed Triple RX. It's been an exclusive ride on this limited edition model that's going to come in at, I think it's just under £19,000 in the UK. Thankfully, that big rain cloud has just held off enough for us to really push the bike to its limits on track in different conditions with different tyres. So this morning's first session was full race wets on a drying track, so you can trim the suspension, you can trim the rider aids for those conditions, and I felt safe. It felt easy, it felt like it was finding grip. I could feel the ABS intervention working, I could feel the traction control working. I had the wheelie control on level 1, so I could feel that and feel the slow intervention coming back in, which is kind of what you want on the wet. Then it started to dry out, we switched to Pirelli SC2s, and then again, we just flick it into the standard track mode. The standard track mode changes the rider aids, it changes the engine brake strategy, it changes the EC3 semi-active all-in suspension to dynamic. And in that dynamic suspension, it feels like a track day bike. You've gone from something quite soft and manageable to a track day bike on race tyres with tyre warmers by pressing a few buttons. It's that easy. Once we got into the swing of things, I found the wheelie control on level 1 is really good, and I think for a lot of inexperienced riders and tracks that undulate, you want it on 1 and 2. And I'm thinking of tracks like Cadwell Park and Alton Park where you've got a lot of undulation, which is like a smaller version here of Portimao. But for me, I much preferred it on level 4, so I was more in control of the wheelie, but that's just because I'm a little bit old school and a little bit old, and I can remember wheeling bikes like RD 500s and 350 LCs. Then finally, we put the big slicks on, preheated, perfect settings, and again, we just changed the suspension by changing a few little parameters electronically. So we just changed the fork support, the corner entry support, initial acceleration, and that transformed it again. That felt, with slicks, like a almost like a crashed race bike. Now let me explain what I mean by that is that the RX compared to the RS has got lower bars that are more of a clip-on, the pegs are higher up. It feels like a race bike with no bodywork, and it handles like a race bike with no bodywork. It feels like a race bike with no bodywork, and to the point where I want to put some bodywork on and try racing it. There's a lot you can do with this bike on track. I didn't think on slicks and with a few modifications on the suspension that it would work that well, but that has been incredible on slicks. The only limitation I think of this bike in that trim is the wind protection and the strength of the brake. So when you're down the back straight at 260, 270 kilometers an hour, even with that little fly screen, it's hard to get out of the wind, it's ripping you off the back, it's quite physical. And on the brakes, they're so strong, these big Brembo trilemmas. In track mode, we've got conventional ABS, there's no ABS on the rear, so you can slide it a little bit into corners. I had the engine braking on maximum, so I had lots of engine braking, which means it was controlling the back wheel, so it would slide in a little bit on the entry. But again, I can reduce that, and I could have made it feel like a two-stroke onto corner entry and really catapult it into corners if I should have wished. And you don't have to be some kind of suspension wizard to do all this. It's literally simple buttons. I think I need a little bit more support coming out the corner support. I need a little bit more help going into corners. You just press a few buttons. And I rode the RS on the road, and I know that is almost like a sports tour on the road, because I know in comfort mode, this suspension, this very clever Öhlins EC3 suspension, works on the road. So it's gonna, in theory, like the RS, work on the road, be soft and manageable and easy going, a bike you could commute on, go around town, even tour on. Yet, with some slicks, as an RX, it's as good as a sports bike. It is that good. The only downside, apart from the dash that I've mentioned previously that's a little bit slow, is it's a little bit in the bragging rights down on power compared to the M1000R, the MV and the Street Fighter V4S. But I don't think you're really going to miss it. It's 180 brake horsepower. How much horsepower do you need on a bike that you can't actually hold on to? But I thought it was going to be good because I rode the RS a couple of weeks ago. But I didn't think it would be that good once we fitted some slicks, once we changed the suspension and did something a little bit different. In terms of lap times, in terms of what we can do, that can throw in some serious laps. That can chase sports bikes around any track. And it's reasonably easy to ride due to that torque and manageable power. And it sounds good. It's ticking a lot of boxes, and I'm going to put my cards on the table, and I don't think in lap times it's going to be that far behind the big 200 horsepower naked bike. Thoroughly enjoyed that bike. It looks good, it feels good, it's got sports bike level of handling, it's got amazing sophisticated EC3 suspension, it feels stable because of that semi-active Öhlins suspension. The grip, the chassis feedback in mixed conditions, you can change the bike. If it just had slightly quicker clocks that were a bit more intuitive, then that would be a 10 out of 10 bike. I think it's going to be 9.5 or 9.75. That's a pretty damn good bike. I hope you've enjoyed the review. We've tried to give you an update throughout the day. It's been great to try it in all these different conditions and see the bike progress from soft, manageable, easy going to pretty hardcore, this can chase a race bike, to what we have today. But if you've got any technical questions, you want to know specifically how much the bars are lower and higher and how specifically how far the pegs are back, fire some questions below. Me, Chris or Al will get back to you. Hopefully me and Chris can have a proper dangerous riding competition on the new Street Fighter, this, the MV, the M1000R and a few others. Can't wait for that. Fingers crossed. Back in summer in the UK. Dangerous riding competition. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you on the next one.